رویکرد فعلی دولت آمریکا به هیچ وجه حاکی از آمادگی برای یک مذاکرات برابر و منصفانه برای رسیدن به
We actually don't really know exactly where Iran's nuclear program is. We have a situation, of course, in which the United States targeted the program, bombed it, seemed to have done a tremendous amount of damage, but we do not know exactly where it stands because of the fact that international inspectors are currently not inspecting those nuclear sites because of a lack of an agreement between Iran and the International Atomic Energy Agency. And this is one of the problems of taking military action, that the inspections regime would most likely be one of the first things that would be cancelled as a result of bombing the nuclear sites. Before the United States struck Iran's nuclear site, it was believed that Iran's breakout time, meaning the amount of time it would need from making a political decision to having the material for a bomb, was roughly 7 days. But after the bombing, we do not know exactly how long that time is. On the one hand, it seems like parts of the program have been fully destroyed. On the other hand, we're not entirely clear where Iran's 60% enrichment stockpile is right now. So in the absence of that information, it is very difficult to know exactly where the program is and how far it potentially is from being able to be weaponized. I think we're going to have a situation that if the Iranians choose to go in the direction of building a nuclear weapon, we will not see any announcement from the Iranians until they are ready to test the bomb. In the absence of inspections, that again makes it more difficult to detect it, but obviously Western countries, Israel, are monitoring everything that is happening in Iran. But building a nuclear weapons program is a very different proposition than building a large civilian program. The Iranian program was a large civilian program. It had thousands of centrifuges. To build a weapons program, you actually need a much smaller amount of centrifuges and a much smaller space to be able to do so. So there is a likelihood that the Iranians could go in that direction without being detected. Know-how has not been destroyed. It is true that several of Iran's leading nuclear scientists were killed. But I don't think the Iranian nuclear know-how was sitting in only a handful of scientists. So it does not appear that much of the know-how has been destroyed. And whatever machinery has been destroyed, the Iranians have the capability of rebuilding those, at least technically. Whether they have the material, etc., is a different story. So when we say that the nuclear program has been set back 2 to 3 years, it is not entirely correct, because that is that specific large civilian program. If the Iranians choose to go in a military direction, that's a completely different program, and it is not at all clear whether that attempt has been set back at all if the Iranians choose to go down that direction. I do believe that there's a very high likelihood that the Israelis will restart the war with Iran. They did suffer from the previous war that they started because of a whole set of different issues. But at the end of the day, they have tried to subjugate Iran militarily, reduce it to another Syria or Lebanon, a country that Israel can strike at will with impunity without American involvement. They have clearly not achieved that, but having started the process, there's a lot of pressure from the Israelis themselves that they have to continue it, because if they give Iran too much time, the window for the Israelis to attack Iran will close.